Now, as a general rule, I usually don't engage in online debates. I just don't think there's any point to them. I don't think they ever go anywhere. I think that they're just about scoring points and dunking. I don't think they're about having a reasonable conversation. And so as a general rule, I don't engage with them. Now that might seem a little contradictory because sometimes we rag on people like Robin DiAngelo and Ibram X. Kendi and Kimberly Crenshaw for refusing to debate their ideas around critical race theory and intersectionality in public. But frankly, I have a limited number of hours in my day, and I don't want to spend them doing things that I think are going to be an exercise in futility at absolute best. However, last week, for reasons past my better judgment, I agreed to participate in a debate, and alongside Christian Watson and Gothics, who I have an immense amount of respect for both of these people, and we were put in a position of debating these soy boy academics who have never, ever, ever lived outside the ivory tower in their lives, have no idea how things happen in the real world. They're not able to speak to it at all because they are purely academics. That is all that they do. And I came into this debate with basically the premise that I really wasn't going to even acknowledge the usefulness of the platform of debate or even directly confront any ideas they had, simply because I think it is a glorious waste of time. I thought the whole thing was ridiculous. Now, I've taken a little bit of grief for how I handled this, but I want you guys to really understand why I took this strategy, because this is something that comes up over and over and over again when you're fighting the woke. All too often, for the sake of being nice or collegial or maintaining decorum, people accept the basis of the argument that the woke give them. They play on their ball field. They literally play by the rules the woke have set. Now, this becomes problematic because the woke can change the rules at any point. They see no problem with that. But when you're trying to be nice and reasonable and having adult conversations, you're literally feeding into what they want you to do. And so my position in this was that I was not going to do that from the very beginning. And I want to play a clip of just my little introduction to the debate, and we're going to talk about why I did what I did, because it wasn't me being angry. It wasn't me being frustrated. I know sometimes, I do think there's a gender thing here. I don't think that people would have the same feedback about me if I was a man. Shockingly, I happen not to be. I do think that is at play here, but let's watch the clip, and then I can talk about why I did what I did. All right, my name is Karlyn Borysenko. I am squarely against critical race theory. I am not remotely interested in how critical race theory manifests in an academic context. I really could care less. Everything that Sam and Aaron are going to bring to this conversation, I really don't care, because what I care about is how this stuff manifests in the real world. There is a strong difference between someone who can read an article in an academic journal and someone who actually knows how to deal with people in real life, in the real world. I have watched thousands of hours of this training, either training that's been done in organizations or in classroom instruction. I basically spend my days reviewing curriculum for this stuff now. I know exactly how it's manifesting in the real world, and everything that Sam and Aaron are going to talk about, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it comes from very nicely worded, peer-reviewed papers where they use 18 words to say something when 3 words would do just fine. But none of that is going to have application in a real-world setting. So that is the perspective that I am bringing to this debate. There you go. There you go. What I did at the very top of this was say, I am not going to accept the premise of your argument, critical race theorists. And here is why I think that this is an important strategy. For those of you, listen, let's back up here for a second. About 50% of the population is, when there's conflict, when there is a debate, when there is an argument, about 50% of the population essentially want to dive under a table and hide. They would literally rather run away than have a confrontation or have a discussion or have a disagreement. It makes them extremely uncomfortable. The other 50% of the population, the part that I am part of, if you haven't already guessed, is the part that gets totally revved up on confrontation. I love it. It makes me so happy to get into a good debate. It makes me so happy. I love that opening. I don't care what you think of me. I love that opening. I'm still watching it again today. This is the first time I've seen it since I actually did it. I loved that opening because debate fires me up. It revs me up. I am really good at it when I get into it, which is also why I don't actually do it that much, because I don't like the person it necessarily makes me. However, when we're fighting the woke, it is really important that we step outside our comfort zone and do not what is comfortable, but what is necessary. What happened when I went directly at these two soy boy academics? I went directly at them. I hit them right between the goddamn eyes. What happened in the course of this debate? They were utterly incapable of even defining the term. I will link to this debate in the description below. You can go back and watch it. I sat in that debate for like 100 minutes, and they were completely incapable of defining the term critical race theory. Why? Because they get hit right in the between the eyes at the very beginning. Now, this is important because people like these two soy boy academics, they're not used to this. Part of the weapon that the woke have, or that the critical race theorists have, I usually refer to all of them as woke as just like a general term. Like, part of the weapons that they have is that they convolute definitions and concepts to make them so the average person does not have the ability to understand what the holy hell they are saying. And they do this specifically to keep you off guard. They do this so that they can say everything under the sun is racism and white supremacy and whiteness is different than race and all this. They do this to take you off guard so that you don't get in their face and confront them. They want to be the ones doing the confronting. So I think it's really important, and this is what we're seeing at these school board meetings when parents are speaking up across the country. You've got to get in their face. You've got to hit them right between the eyes. You've got to stand up and be strong and show that you're not going to back down, because when you do it, they are so not used to it that it completely dismantles them. It really does. This makes them very angry. This is part of why if you watch this debate, you'll see throughout this entire debate, they were laughing at me. They weren't answering my questions. They were completely disrespecting me the entire time. Why? Because I hit them right between the eyes at the very beginning. The woke are people who will call everyone around them racist and call them out and call them horrible people and Nazis and fascists and all these things every single day. But they are not used to receiving it. Because typically what happens is that they're the ones that are very comfortable with conflict, and the people they're going after, they run and hide and run under the table because they don't want to deal with the conflict. They're like, okay. I would rather not deal with conflict than be called a racist. And this is how they win. This is how they gain power. They make people afraid to confront them. They make people afraid to stand up and say what they think because they're more afraid of being called a racist than they are of the reality that people like this are going to implement on us in our schools, in our organizations, etc. So you have to be bold. You have to stand your ground. You have to get aggressive sometimes. Listen, it doesn't matter if they think you're angry. It doesn't matter if they like it or not. We're sometimes so focused on being nice and thinking, oh, we can just have a reasonable conversation with these people and they're just going to understand the error of their ways. No, they're not. They're not. This ideology has been around since the 70s. It has picked up a lot of steam, a lot of momentum, and it's escalating faster than ever. Our job right now is that we have to throw sand in their gears. We have to slow them down completely. If you are placing your own comfort level above fighting back and scoring a win, even for a moment, I successfully slowed them down for an hour and a half in that debate. And then I had to leave and I had to go do something else. But I successfully slowed them down for an hour and a half and demonstrated that neither of them actually knew what they were talking about when it manifests in the real world. I'm going to take that victory and I'm not going to feel badly about how I got there, because people like Sam, people like Aaron, they literally want to teach your children that they are racist. They'll say, no, we don't want that. They'll even lie to you and say, critical race theory isn't being taught in schools. We don't know what you're talking about. We don't know what you're talking about. Critical race theory isn't being taught in schools at all. That is a bold-faced lie. It is a bold-faced lie. They are lying to you. They know what's going on, they know how it's manifested, and they want to be the ones to take advantage of it. And whether or not they have positive intentions or nefarious intentions, I don't really care, because impact is all that matters. Use their rules against them. The impact of their actions are all that matters. And if you are not going to approach them with the appropriate amount of righteous indignation, then you get what you get. You get what you get. So I am a big fan of righteous indignation in these settings. I think that righteous indignation works. They don't know how to deal with righteous indignation, and it takes them entirely out of their comfort zone. And if you can do that, if you can get them to expose themselves for who they really are, then I'm sorry, guys. That's a win every day of the week. And I don't care if you like it, and I don't care if you think that I lacked decorum, or I wasn't a collegiate debater, Michael Moreno. Don't think I haven't heard that you wanted me to be denounced. Don't think about that at all. That is not the point. The point is not to convince them. The point is to slow them down and to expose the hypocrisy so that you can use it against them later. That is the only point of any of these exercises. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it. And if you think that I was angry or belligerent, nah, dude. Nah. I just wanted to hit you right between the eyes. And I was absolutely successful in my mission. That's all I've got for right now. If you enjoyed this video, I will be posting many more videos on my thoughts about fighting back against the woke menace that has taken over our culture on this channel. I will also be posting trainings. I will be posting, hopefully, like awesome videos of parents and other people speaking up when I find them. This is a channel all about fighting back against the woke, giving you guys the information that you need. Please subscribe, help me grow the channel so that we can create a little unwoke army and all fight it back against this together. That's all I have for right now. I'll see you soon.